Hello, everyone. I'm Ricky Johnson, and I'm a fourth year senior architecture student. And with me, I have Kate Smith. Would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kate Dudzik Smith. I am a local architect here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm the senior design architect at HDR, and I'm instructor of architecture at Arizona State University.
Great. I just have a few questions for you. What key life experiences have formed who you are today?
I've had the great pleasure of working with several notable architects in town. Among them Marwan Al Sayed, John Douglas, and I work for Tenant Studio as well. I've also had my own practice a couple of times. So all of those, I would say, help to shape and inform not only my architecture, but the way that I practice.
How did you become passionate and involved in architecture?
Well, I've always wanted to become an architect before I knew what it was called. When I was young, I was trying to draw floor plans, and none of my family is in construction or architecture, design, anything like that. So my parents did some research and then came back to me and just said, "Hey, there's this person called an architect, and this is what they do. Does that sound good to you?" And I was like, "Oh yes, that sounds amazing. I want to do that." And then I really became passionate about advocacy in architecture after the governor of Arizona started pushing to take licensure away.
What are your core values and how are they reflected in your practice?
Well, I believe in the power of design. The power of design is an agent for change and a catalyst for good or bad. I believe that the things that we do can be 50-year mistakes. So we really need to make sure that we're actually designing what's needed and helping to not only design what happens on the site, but then also getting involved outside of the site.
What is your design process? And this can include design thinking, visualization, and realization.
Well, my design process is I have to get big. I have to get all the information that I can from the clients and basically get everything very large, 24 by 36 or 30 by 30 inch by 42. So get a bunch of trace paper and kind of see how the sun angles work. It's the physics of the site, and then trying to figure how everything comes together. And it's a collaborative process. Members of the team, clients, engineers, interior designers, whomever. And we talk and collaborate about how to get something done.
How do you collaborate with other individuals to realize your impactful work?
Like I was just mentioning, for me, architecture is about teams. You have to work with your client. Basically, you're helping them pull something into creation, and it's just getting everybody on the same page, making sure everybody knows what the bigger moves, the conceptual moves are.
How has Peter Zumthor architectural ideas and buildings impacted your architectural practice?
I have to say that thinking about slow architecture and thinking about architecture for all the senses, actually something that's phenomenological. It's something that, maybe marks time, has some sort of erosion, right? It has some sort of quality where you can see footprints, right? Where you can actually see the passage of time and the aggregation of, like humanity kind of manifesting in architecture. It's something larger than ourselves, something larger than the busy everyday.
What are the biggest challenges you face?
It can be kind of arduous. Some of the things I'm working on currently now, it's just sometimes getting the city to agree with itself. Funding, having the profession look outside of itself and actually see how society contextualizes us and where they place us and the value that they assign to us. For us, trying to have agency over that and how we get to not see ourselves as what was.
What advice would you give to a young student?
Trust yourself. It's in developing your own design process, because that's how you think is going to be different than how other people think and how you arrive at the answer. Make mistakes now because it's harder later. You're going to follow your own path, and that's okay. Right. You're not going to look like everybody else, and that's okay. I know when I went to school, it was about like, oh, this is the shining example of how things should kind of be for you. And I don't know anyone who's that. I don't. So it's, your choice and how you practice, whether you want to be, somebody who designs everything or whether that you want to be somebody that focuses on a specific component of what we do. Not everybody's going to be a generalist, and not everyone's going to be specific. Not everyone's going to be comfortable being that head designer. And that's completely fine, because we're a profession and we're multifaceted and we're stronger that way.
Okay. That is the conclusion of this interview. Thank you for allowing me to do this. I really appreciate your time.
And it's been my pleasure talking with you, Ricky.
All right. Thank you so much.